Hey guys, this is going to be a quick refresher on Pythagoras and what we've done and looked at so far. So what we've looked at is that Pythagoras involves the use of right angle triangles only. C represents the hypotenuse, which is always the longest side, and it doesn't matter which side A and B is. So if we're trying to find the hypotenuse, the formula we use, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, because we're trying to find the hypotenuse. And then the other formula is our a squared equals, always going to be c squared first, because it's the longest side, minus b squared, and we use this when we're finding the shorter side. So this one for finding the hypotenuse, this one when we're finding a shorter side, so either A or B. What we have started looking at in the last lesson is composite shapes, and remembering that composite shapes are a combination or more than one shape. So usually it's two shapes or more put together, and obviously we're just going to be looking for all of the right angle triangles. That's what's important to us. So question 3 was for homework. We might have a look at a couple of questions, so we might even start with question 3A. So I'm just going to draw that triangle that I'm looking at now to the best of my abilities. It's starting to take shape. So it's looking something like this, and labelling it as best I can. Oh, but I have made an error already. It's not meant to be that. 3, 5, 10, and this length, all of that length there is y. Alright. So the important things we're trying to find are x. We're trying to find this y value here as well. So when we're looking at those two values, really there's only one of them that we can calculate first. We've got to look for anytime we try to calculate the side of a triangle, we need to have two sides. We need to know two sides. If you're looking at the y, for example, down the bottom, now the y is part of this triangle here. Okay, the much bigger triangle. Whereas x is only part of this smaller triangle. So if we're looking at these two triangles individually, you've got the big blue one and the yellow one. X is part of the yellow triangle. Now, if I wanted to calculate x, I do know two of those sides already. I've been given a 5, which is here, and a 3, which is down the bottom here. So I know two parts of this triangle, which means I can calculate it. If I was looking at the y, I don't know the side length on the left, which is unknown at the moment as x, but I do know the hypotenuse is 10. So I'm going to calculate x first because I know the two sides that I've got. The formula I'm going to use is a squared equals c squared minus b squared. The reason I'm using that formula is because I have been given my hypotenuse. I don't know one of my short sides. So I look to fill this in now. A squared equals 5 squared take 3 squared. A squared equals 25 take 9. A squared equals 25 take 9 is 16. Now I just need to make sure this is because I need to square root my final answers so that I'm left with just a. The square root of 16 is 4. So x in this case equals 4. Alright, so now I know what x equals. X no longer needs to be there. I can rub that out and I can replace it with the answer, which I know is 4 now. So now I do have two sides of this triangle. I now know this long side down here. I also know this side down here that I've already marked in blue, which is 10. This side down the bottom is the length I'm trying to find. That's y, as mentioned down here. Okay, so that whole length is y. That's what I'm trying to find out now. So I know that I've been given a hypotenuse, which is 10. So I know the rule that I need to use is finding the short side rule. It's the same rule as before, equals c squared minus b squared. So a squared equals 10 squared minus 4 squared. Remember, it doesn't matter where a and b are in this formula. Either one can be the other. It doesn't really matter. All right. The a and b is not the important one. The c is what's important. Where you need to have that in the right place every time. So a squared equals 100 take 16. A squared equals 100 take 16, which is 84. And then we need to make sure that we square root those final answers. And A is going to equal, I haven't got a calculator, it's going to be 9 point something. 9 point something, that's what your answer should be. So Y will equal 9 point, I'm not sure what the decimal places are off the top of my head, but you can use a calculator to figure that out. So finally, the tips for completing these composite shape questions. Always important to draw the triangle. Now you can draw the shape just like I did for 3A, or you could draw each of those two triangles separately. So you're working on the small triangle first, just draw the small triangle and label. Once you've done that, draw the big triangle second and label it. Sometimes that's helpful as well. The second tip is to just make sure that after you've drawn your triangle, you select the correct equation. The way you do that is, are you finding the hypotenuse or are you finding a short side? That tells you which equation you're going to be using. And finally, once you've selected the correct equation, you just need to substitute the values into your equation and solve it using the exact same method of working out we've done in class as what I've shown you before. Good luck.